The computational machines calculated the path and the possible launch dates of the next space messenger. There was no reliable knowledge of the Venus atmosphere. This led the design of the apparatus to consider a wide range of atmospheric parameters at the surface of the pressure from one sufficient sphere and temperature from 0 to plus 400 degrees Celsius. The calculations determined the shape of the descending machine and its aerodynamic characteristics. The equipment for the entire flight program, the pre-flight work, was being developed. The general layout of Venus 4's automatic interplanetary station was completed. The automatic station was supposed to deliver the launch vehicle to Venus, carry out scientific measurements on the flight route and in the atmosphere of the planet, and pass on all the information to them as both. Venus 4 was made up of an orbital compartment with a corrective propulsion system and a launch vehicle. An orientation and stabilization system with pneumatic executives is located in the orbital compartment for precise orientation in space. Adjusting engine installation gear with fuel tanks and control system. It's a complicated reception, transmitting the radio technology complex, sisters directed parabolic, and not a lot of forward antennas. Power supply and thermoregulation systems. Scientific equipment was installed in the orbital bay to conduct research during a long interplanetary flight and in the upper atmosphere of Venus. The launch vehicle was designed to carry out scientific research in the context of the loss of Venus in the atmosphere and to transmit information to the ground. For this purpose, scientific equipment has been installed in the landing equipment. 2 gas analyzers to determine the availability of carbon dioxide, water, oxygen, and nitrogen. 2 sets of instruments that determine the temperature and pressure of the atmosphere. It's been stunned at the precinct, as well as automation and radio equipment. The process of opening solar panels, radio antennas, and magnetometers in the bar has been repeated. In order to verify the operation of the station, including thermal control systems close to space, tests were carried out in a specially constructed Brock thermometer. This chamber contains solar heat flowers on the route and cold cranes with a temperature of less than 200 degrees Celsius, simulating the absorption of the station's thermal radiation by space. The first stage in the independent existence of the launch vehicle is its separation from the orbital compartment. The firing of the launch vehicle was thoroughly performed on factory tests. And now it's time to start. And let's get a message to the task. Consistent with the space exploration program and the planets of the solar system, June 12, 1967, 5 hours and 40 minutes of Moscow time. In the Soviet Union, a space rocket was launched with an automatic interplanetary station towards the planet Venus. Separated from the last stage of the launch vehicle, and with the second cosmic velocity, Venus forewent into the heliocentric trajectory. Radio antennas and solar panels have been opened. The station is in flight. On October 18, the 1967th year, at 5:37 minutes of command from the ground began a subterranean radio session with Venus Station 4. The session began with information on the status of the onboard systems and aggregates. The station then focused on the sun and the ground, turned a parabolic antenna towards the ground and remained in that position until entering the dense atmosphere. A space particle meter magnetometer installed on board. Measure of the concentration of charged particles and ultraviolet photon meters. Data were obtained on the planetary space of Venus. As the station approached Venus, it began to experience the effects of the atmosphere. Overwork and temperature are growing rapidly. 7:38 minutes. There was an automatic separation of the descending machine. Radio communications to the ground temporarily ceased. The launch vehicle was the most complex part of the trajectory of the aerodynamic braking section. After passing the peak of overloads and reducing the speed from the second space to 300 meters per second, on the command of the automated system, there's been a brake parachute. At 7:39 minutes after the discovery of the main parachute through a special antenna, the transfer of scientific information from the Venus atmosphere began. By fully implementing the flight and scientific measurements program, at 9 a.m. 13 minutes, at 57 seconds on October 18, 1967, Venus 4's automatic interplanetary station completed its work. The results of the flight of Venus's automatic interplanetary station were reviewed by a government commission. Chief designer Georgy Nikolaevich Babakina reported the result of all the station systems. At the commission, the results of the work were discussed with representatives of various organizations. A unique experiment conducted by Soviet scientists and designers. It is a new step towards the exploration of outer space and the planets of the solar system.